Saint Anne Higler charged with murder. A Saint Anne Higler has been charged with murder following the stabbing death of a man in his community on October 7. He is 37-year-old Junior Campbell, otherwise called Alka or Blacker, of Clamstead in Limehouse, St. Anne. He is accused of fatally stabbing 38-year-old caretaker Roy Aniki. The St. Anne's Bay police say about 7:30 p.m., residents heard Aniki and Campbell fighting inside their home. Shortly after, Aniki called out for help and the police were summoned. On their arrival, Aniki's body was seen lying face down in a pool of blood with multiple stab wounds. The scene was processed and the body was later removed to the morgue pending post-mortem examination. Campbell was apprehended and taken into custody on October 9. After an investigation, lawmen formally charged him on Friday. His court date is being finalized. Man charged after allegedly attempting bribery of cops. A 28-year-old man is facing charges after allegedly attempting to bribe policemen on Friday. Michael Jones of Healing Crescent, Kingston 5, has been charged with breaches of the Anti-Corruption Act. Reports are that about 11:40 a.m., lawmen were conducting a national coordinated roadblock operation when Jones, who was driving a Toyota Axio motor vehicle, was seen not wearing a seat belt. He was signaled to stop and during routine checks, Jones was unable to produce a driver's license. It is alleged that while police were in the process of preparing traffic tickets, Jones went to his vehicle and returned with an envelope containing money, which he allegedly offered to the lawmen. Jones was immediately taken into custody and later charged following an interview. The police are reminding public that the attempt to bribe a member of the police is a serious criminal offense and will be met with the full force of the law. St. Catherine police recover stolen vehicle, arrest one suspect after gun battle. One of two suspects who allegedly fired at the St. Catherine police after they were intercepted in a stolen vehicle is now in custody while the other is being sought. The police say about 9:40 a.m. Friday, police personnel attached to the Guidesville police station in St. Catherine when they received reports that a Toyota Vaxi motor truck, which was stolen from its owner in Tree Hill, St. Mary, was seen in Guidesville. The police went to pursue the vehicle in the area called Cocking Hill. However, the driver reportedly sped off while the passenger brandished a handgun and fired at the police. The vehicle was pursued into the neighboring Castle Kelly district in St. Anne, where the vehicle stopped near an open lot and the two men allegedly alighted and again fired at the police. The police reportedly took evasive action and returned fire. During the exchange, one man escaped and the other was held. The stolen vehicle was processed and is in possession of the police. The Independent Commission of Investigation has launched a probe into the matter. Not your win. Works Minister Robert Morgan has thrown cold water on claims by Member of Parliament St. James Southern, the People's National Party's Nikisha Burchell, that her advocacy resulted in work finally being done on the Mount Peller to Anchovy Road in St. James. We will fix the Mount Peller Road. That's a commitment that you have from us as the Minister with responsibility and from the Prime Minister. It is not something that you have to force us to do. It is something that was planned long ago. We could never dug up Mount Peller Road and not fix it, Morgan said in response to reporters during a tour of the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project on Wednesday. So for those who are saying that this is advocacy that has caused us to plan to fix the road, no, we plan our projects. Yes, there have been delays. We welcome advocacy. Advocacy is good. But as a responsible government, we plan our projects, we budget our projects, and we have a budget to fix that road, and we will fix that road, he added. The Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, is funding pipeline work by the National Water Commission as part of the government's $500 million Integrated Community Development Project to improve water supply in several St. James Southern communities. However, the ongoing works have worsened already poor road condition, causing heavy traffic and travel delays. 3 weeks ago, public passenger operators withdrew service along the route in protest, citing the deteriorating road surface. Burchell was on the scene of the protest, calling for intervention. In response, JSIF urged the public to remain patient. The first-term MP recently took to social media, claiming that she has finally been successful in her push for the start of the long-awaited road repairs. After weeks of follow-up, letters, meetings with the NWA, the JSIF, and the NWC, and after writing directly to Minister Morgan when I wasn't getting anywhere, I am pleased to report that we finally have some movement. Mr. E.G. Hunter, who is the head of the National Works Agency, has confirmed for me that the remedial work on the Montpellier to Anchovy Road has now been scooped and cost. The NWA is currently working with JSIF to finalize the financing arrangements. Their most optimistic projection is that the work should begin within the next 2 weeks once the contracting process is properly finalized, Birchall said in her post. On Wednesday, Morgan did not fully commit to the 2-week date start, stressing that the road cannot be paved while construction is ongoing. He said work will begin as soon as JSIF completes its work. On Thursday, Managing Director of JSIS Omar Sweeney told reporters that reinstatement of the road will start in about 2 weeks. November 1 is when we are working to begin. We should finish the testing of the pipe in the next 2 weeks or so, and then be in a position to start reinstating the road, Sweeney stated. We have other works that we'll be doing, but there is not much on Montpellier Main Road. We're doing works at Roehampton and some other areas connected to this road. But what we're doing is to get off the Montpellier Main Road in the month of November, he added. Meanwhile, Morgan pointed out that as with any development, challenges were expected. He explained that the road had to be excavated to lay pipes and that heavy rains have since delayed progress. Additionally, he said there is ongoing dialogue with JSIF to address the issues. There has been recent commentaries on television and we have seen demonstrations. I want to assure the people of Southern St. James, the people of Hanover and the people of St. James generally that your government cares about you. If we did not care, we would not be making the investment in the water facility there, the Works Minister noted. Construction worker charged with Cockburn Gardens murder. The St. Andrew South Police have charged 20-year-old construction worker Romando Simpson, otherwise called Prince, with murder, possession of prohibited weapon and ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony following an incident in Cockburn Gardens, Kingston 11 on May 25th. Simpson, who is a resident of Regent Street, Denham Town in Kingston, is accused in the murder of 22-year-old Judas Clark, otherwise called Froggy, a kitchen assistant of Cockburn Gardens address. The police say about 7 p.m., Clark was sitting outside his home when he was approached by Simpson, who was armed with a handgun. Simpson reportedly opened fire, hitting Clark before escaping in a waiting motor vehicle. The police were summoned and Clark was then taken into hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Following investigations, Simpson was arrested and subsequently charged on Friday after a question and answer session conducted in the presence of his attorney. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is again appealing to anyone with information that can assist in the investigation of this or any other crime committed within the St. Andrew South Police Division to contact the Hunts Bay Police CIB at 876-923-7111, Crime Stop at 311, the Police 119 emergency number or the nearest police station. Businessman accused of failing to deliver vehicles to buyers. A 44-year-old businessman has been charged after allegedly failing to hand over vehicles he was paid by customers to provide. Lloyd Thompson, a businessman of Palmetto East Fort in St. Catherine, was charged with fraudulent conversion in relation to a series of incidents in the parish between April and August 2023. Reports from the Discovery Bay Police are that 2 men paid deposit to Thompson for motor vehicles between April and August 2023. One complainant paid $2.4 million for a Toyota Coaster, while the other paid $1 million as a deposit for a Toyota Hiace bus. It is alleged that after making payments, both men tried to contact Thompson to finalize the transactions, but he began avoiding their calls. Allegedly, he later gave the men an explanation which arouses their suspicions, leading them to make a report to the police. Thompson was later taken into custody in connection with similar reports made within the Kingston Police Division. An identification parade was conducted, during which both complainant positively identified him. He was formally charged on Friday. His court date is being finalized. Bog Walk Gorge reopened. The Bog Walk Gorge in St. Catherine has been reopened. It was closed Friday afternoon following reports of falling boulders and rising water levels as a result of heavy rains. In an update yesterday morning, the National Works Agency said the gorge is open to vehicular traffic. Motorists are urged to proceed with caution. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.